Hey, this is Mr. Strawbridge. How are you? I hope everything's going well and everybody's staying safe and healthy. I've had some questions about this week's activity, and so I thought I'd send out a Zoom lesson, a little tutorial to help you. Um, First of all, a couple of weeks ago, I sent the videos about basic music theory, staff, clef, ledger lines, and note duration. This one is about this particular assessment is concerning staff, clef, and ledger lines. Excuse me. And honestly, the other stuff is for instruction and to help you do this particular activity. But everything you need for this activity is right here. So you don't even need to go back to those other lessons, and I'm going to show you. And don't worry if you don't get it. I totally understand. It can be difficult. Also, there's something valuable about face-to-face learning. And so hopefully I can help you with this now. Um, I'm doing this because tomorrow, Thursday and Friday, I have to go to the school to pack up my classroom. So some of you that I had was going to do a Zoom session with, um, I'm going to do this instead and see if this can help you. Uh, so I can get up to the school tomorrow to gather my things and get my classroom ready for the end of the year. So the directions are very simple. All it's saying is to take a piece of paper, and you can do that now. Get a piece of paper and number it from 1 to 12. All right. Also, make sure you have at the top of the page, make sure you put, well, when you send it to me, make sure you put your name and your homeroom teacher's name. Excuse me. And when you finish the assignment, after you've answered numbers 1 through 12, um, then just put the answers on Edsby and send them to me. And make sure, again, you have your name and your teacher's name there. Okay? So that's all this is saying. So get a blank sheet of paper, and that way you can do the work and then transfer the answers onto Edsby. Blank sheet of paper, number 1 through 12, and they're just going to be 12 answers that you're going to give. First of all, this is what you're going to use to help you find the answers. This is our music staff, and we have here your treble clef here, and bass clef. Treble clef is for higher notes, bass clef is for lower notes. And this is important because this tells you what the name of the notes are going to be. If you look here in treble clef, this note is a C, but this same note here in bass clef is an E. Okay, and it tells you what the names of the lines are: E, G, B, D, and F in treble clef, as well as the spaces F, A, C, E. And the notes that go above and below the staff use what's called a ledger line, and this line extends the notes above and below the music staff. So in bass clef as well, we have our notes here: G, oh, this is ridiculous, on the bottom line, G, B, D, F, A. And then when you get down here, you have the notes below and above the staff. They use ledger lines. And the names of the spaces: A, C, E, and G. So this chart here is going to help you answer your questions, okay? And this is really all you need to do the assignment. So let's look at our first four, okay? This is numbers 1, number 2, number 3, and number 4. Okay, now if we look at number 1, and I'm going to circle it. There's the tool. I'm going to circle here. Oh, go, excuse me. Right. Here we go. So our first note here, okay, in treble clef, this matters because we have to see that this is in treble clef because it's at the top, okay? So this is our first note here, and we see that it's at the top, so it is treble clef. Now, let's erase this, and let's go up, okay? Keep in mind that note, this is one line below the staff. So I'm going to look at my chart here, look for treble clef, one line below the staff, and that note is a C. You see that? C. That's the exact same note as you see here. So number 1 on your paper is going to be C. And we're going to do numbers 1, 2, 3, and 4. And then 5 through 12 you can do on your own. So, excuse me. Number 2, let's look at number 2, okay? Number 2, we have to also look. And number 2 is a line above the staff, but it's below, it's down here. So this is going to be for bass clef, okay? Now, if we look at bass clef, one line above the staff, let's erase this here, and this here, and let's go up top. Bass clef, one line below, or above the staff, excuse me, and that's going to be C. C, bass clef, okay? So you use the chart to help you find the notes. So then that means number 2 is going to be C. That's the name of this note. Now let's look at number 3. Is it treble or bass clef? If we look, we see that it's up top, which makes it treble clef. Now, we also look and we see that it's on line 1, 2. It's on the second line from the bottom. Now, I look up here at my chart, my grand staff, and I look for the second line above from the bottom, 1, 2, and then I see that that is G. See that? I look here, 1, 2, here. That means the note is going to be G. So that means the answer to number 3 is G. That's the name of that note. Now, let's look at number 4. Look at number 4. We have to figure out if it's treble clef or bass clef. So it's on the bottom. That means it is bass clef. Now we have to figure out what is the name of this note. So we see that it is on a line. So we count 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom, or 1, 2 from the top. Now let's go to our chart. And I go to bass clef here, 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom. So what is that note name? F. Okay, so the answer to number 4 would be F. So our note names are, number 1 is C, number 2 is C, number 3 is a G, number 4 is F. That's how you figure that out, okay? And that's basically it. So you do the same, and I'm not going to tell you the answer, but you have number 5 here, and you look, number 5 is below the staff, and it's treble clef, okay, below the staff. And I go here to my chart, and I look, one note below the staff, what note is that going to be? You see? And you can go back to this video anytime you need to. So to review, we have our paper. In your paper, you're going to number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay? Also, make sure when you submit it, put your name and your teacher's name at the top. And really, honestly, I only need your teacher's name. Just remember that because your name will be on EdSpeak. So here is our chart that we need, and we have to know treble clef and bass clef here. And that tells us what the names of the lines and spaces are going to be. And this is all we need to answer these questions. So I go to number 1, and I see it's treble clef. Then I look and I see, oh, it's one ledger line below the staff. So I look at my chart. One ledger line below the staff is C. And so on and so forth. Here I see, hey, this is in fact below the treble clef. So this would be bass clef. So this note here is a line above the staff, which would make it C in bass clef. Okay. And then we have number 3. I have 1, 2 lines from the bottom. And I look here and I see, oh, it's treble clef. It's not down here in bass clef area. It's up here in treble clef land. So treble clef, 2 lines from the bottom. I look up here at my chart and I see treble clef. 1, 2 lines from the bottom. That is G. So the answer to number 3 is G. And then number 4, I have to look, is it in treble clef or bass clef? It's in fact bass clef. But now I have to count. 1, 2, 3, 4 from the bottom. Let's look up here on my chart. I go to bass clef and I look 1, 2, 3, 4. What note is that? That is F. So the answer to number 4 is F. So that's how you do the assignment. I hope this helps. If you still have an issue, please feel free to message me. But that's how it goes, all right? You all stay safe and healthy, and please, please, please wash your hands and social distance and all of that good stuff, all right? Talk to you later. Bye.